Hi everyone, Lou Manfredini, Ace's home expert. Today's project, preparing and staining your deck or porch. Now if you have a porch like this, you can see that it's seen better days. We're going to take you through the steps of the proper preparation as well as the different products you can use to bring it back to life. Now there are many different methods to washing a deck or a porch floor, but I found that the best way is to use a pressure washer. First off, you can either purchase one or rent one. And the PSI does matter. That's the pounds per square inch. The more pounds per square inch, the stronger the pressure washer, and that's something to keep in mind. You have to be very careful using them because if you get too close to the wood, you can damage it depending on the tip that you use. Using a fan tip is probably the best method, and you want to test out an area first to get used to how it works. And you want to get just close enough to make sure that you're cleaning the deck and removing paint if that's what you're trying to do, but without damaging the wood. As you can see, it peels up a lot of the paint, but it's not finished yet. On this particular deck, we're going to use a solid colored stain, so we want to make sure that any loose paint is removed. And when the wood is bare, the water gets absorbed, and as it dries, it gets behind the paint film, and you can actually see if I take a scraper, it starts to come up a little bit. And so you don't want to apply any new finish over the top of that. So you're going to spend a little bit of time using a scraper, maybe even a wire brush. It's a good idea to do that in between the grooves to loosen up that paint. And maybe even a little bit of sanding to kind of even it all out. You want to make sure that you're driving in any nails that may be loose. Don't be surprised if you have to replace a board here or there. And then remember to sweep all of that off. The next step here is going to be using a bonding primer. That's going to go over this bare wood to kind of bridge the gap between the paint that's left and the bare wood to kind of hold it in place. It's almost like a glue. Now before we put any of the paint down on the porch floor, we want to make sure that we protect the areas we don't want to get paint on. So a little painter's tape down here in sections. On this bottom here, this is vinyl siding, and this J channel right here, you don't want to get any of that brown color onto the siding whatsoever. Now I think here it'd be a wise idea to maybe do a double layer of tape, go up just a little bit more onto the siding there just to protect it. That little added barrier is going to be beneficial to you, I think, as you're rolling it so you don't get any splattering. It's an added step, but ultimately what we're looking for is a nice finished product. With any exterior painting, it's always important to pay attention to the weather because we want to make sure that it's dry. And when it comes to a deck or a porch, not too hot or in direct sunlight. You see, no matter what you're putting down, if it's too warm, the sun is beating down too much on the surface, it'll dry too quickly and you won't get the kind of adhesion and durability that you'd want from any kind of deck stain, whether it's a semi-transparent or a solid colored stain. So make sure that the temperatures are somewhere in the neighborhood of, above 60 degrees, not over 80 degrees. Avoid direct sunlight and make sure that it's not going to rain for at least 24 hours after you're done with the project. When you're ready to put the finish down on your porch or your deck, you want to spot prime any bare wood with the stain or the paint that you're using. We're using a solid colored deck stain here, and on this bare wood, you want to go ahead and just get a coating on there. And the reason is, when you come back over to put the finish coat on, you want it to have a consistent coverage and sheen. If you just go over the bare wood once, it's like you're never going to catch up. So this is just a light coat to kind of blend it all in before you go and put the final coat over the entire surface of the deck or porch. We've done all of our cutting around the perimeter of the porch deck, and now we're ready to go ahead and roll it on. Now with these acrylic deck stains, what you'll notice, it's a little bit thicker finish. Almost, this color, you can see, sort of looks like a milk chocolate. You're going to go ahead and put that roller on and start rolling it on and working that paint in. Because it's a little bit thicker, you want to pay attention to any roping that could occur. Now, because I'm starting in this corner, I've got to go against the graining of the wood. It's a good idea if you can to go with the graining, but once I pull out a little bit, then I can go with the grain and kind of work myself into the groove. Now also remember, if you're on an enclosed porch like this, you want to make sure that you're finishing up and you don't get trapped inside the corner. So wherever your exit point is, keep rolling towards that to finish it all off. A nice even coverage back and forth, and in just a few minutes, we're going to be done with this staining. Depending on the weather, you may need to wait 24 to 48 hours before placing the furniture back on the porch floor. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and send us a comment if you'd like. And if you need more advice, just go to ACE, the helpful place.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware from